Hi everyone, I'm here with Ali, and we're just gonna go straight into it. We're just gonna have a short introduction. Hi Ali, who is Ali behind the camera, and what is the story most people don't know about you?
Daniel, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been watching your clips online, and it's given me a lot of insight to your background as well as what you're trying to do. So I really appreciate giving me the time to come online and basically try and get my views and my perspective on this crazy world that we're living in at the moment. So I am based in the UK, as you can tell from my accent. I'm originally from Iran. That's where I'm from. I came here when I was a little boy, and since then I've just been living here. In terms of what motivated me to basically come online and talk to you, and what motivated me to go online and start doing clips of motivational talk and smaller clips, basically to make people smile, is just to hopefully help someone that's going through a tough period in their life at the moment. I'm kind of hoping they will accidentally pop onto my channel or pop onto my clips or videos that I post online, and it might help them basically rethink and reevaluate everything that they're going through and whatever issues that they're having. I'm kind of hoping it's going to try and give them some advice, or maybe at least push them in the right direction. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to do this. And of course, the ultimate goal for me is just to leave a legacy of myself behind.
Yeah, true. And thank you very much. I also like your stuff. That's why I feel like I resonate with you. That's why I invited you to podcast. We are similar. And sometimes I even say it in my videos. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something.
Like you said, it's just about planting that seed somewhere and not knowing what you want to do. I think this is the greatest purpose in life that should motivate you to try new things and try and push towards new boundaries, as they say. For me personally, I tried so many different things in life, and I will continue to try so many different things in order just to find who I really am and what my purpose is. And this is the whole idea of, taking new challenges and, like yourself, basically taking a new step in a new direction and basically just going with the flow and seeing where it goes. And this is what this life is totally about.
You mentioned a bit before you've been very religious, and now you are more spiritual. What led you to this change? If you can, go a bit, because I think there are many people, they might relate to this.
I think personally for myself, basically, and the reason why I say I was very religious, I came from a quite a religious family, basically. Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, something happened that really triggered my my way of basically, looking at my whole life in general. So I saw, or I experienced basically myself, all the religious leaders out there, and this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah, of course.
They are very quick to judge everybody in terms of, how we live, how we talk, how we conduct ourselves, and everything else. Yes. And for me, that was an eye-opener because, I was quite religious myself. And when you're very religious, it's almost like you become immune to logic. If someone's got a different point of view to you, or if somebody has a different perspective on things, because you think that you are correct,
yes,
even though you might be wrong, you become deaf and blind to it. You really do not take anything into consideration except the thing that you already know.
Yeah, nothing else.
And this, absolutely, yeah. And this was a real eye-opener for me because I was having a conversation with a few friends of mine. There were some of them were Muslims, some of them were Christians, but very religious guys. We used to meet on a regular basis, and we used to have debates and all of this. And I realized that all we're doing is just literally repeating what we're saying to one another over and over.
Reinforcing the same belief, but not taking other variables sometimes into consideration.
Definitely. And I think what's happened is we've created, I think all religions basically, they've created this storm, this murky water that nobody even talks about God anymore. It's all about this story and that story and this verse and that verse. And, it's almost we're clashing heads all the time in this murky water, and we're making it into an even darker place instead of just, stepping back and just analyzing everything and realizing, worshiping God can be done in so many different ways. You can be godly without, what's the right terminology? Without all the propaganda and without all the judgmental stuff and everything else that comes with religion. That's why changed my whole perspective. I'm not saying God doesn't exist. So this is the most important thing. A lot of people think I'm saying that God doesn't exist. No. God definitely exists. I've experienced God in my own way so many times, basically.
Sure.
But I see things a lot more clearer now. That's why I've become a lot more spiritual, to the point where some people actually think I'm religious. Well, I have to tell them I'm not really religious. I'm more spiritual, you know? I'm more connected with God spiritually than I've ever been before. So this is how I look at things and how I look at life now.
Yeah, that's good. I think the way, like, I can explain it a bit is the same. I tried to join at one point a very religious group. I'm not going to say which one now. And their problem is they want everyone to be the same. They want you to lose your individuality. So if you go, how you say, a bit like, hey, but I like this, or I would like to read about this, or I would like to know this subject, they will be like, no, it's not like. And what they teach you, they don't really teach you just the connection with God. They teach you how to be like them. You get me? They teach you just the dogma. They don't teach you the inner self, the how you can connect personally with God, and how you don't need them, or certain how you call that, traditions. Many religious things, they have these traditions, and that's the thing is. So that's how I can explain it from my own point of view.
Definitely, I totally agree, Daniel. I think what it is for me, it was like a herd mentality almost, where you don't question anything. You are told this, and this is it, and this is fact. Do not question it, and you just follow it,
True,
and this was, and I think, in my opinion, is quite dangerous when you are not allowed to basically question and seek maybe different answers to what you are experiencing. And a lot of the times, basically, when I don't know, when you're worshiping God basically in different ways, half the time you don't even realize it become almost like an act. You don't even know what you're saying anymore. It's become like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like, okay, it's time. Let me go now. It's like this. It's not like you're not connecting with God. It's like an act that you're doing, and you feel like, okay, I've been told to do it. I'll do it.
Like a routine.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Like that's my personal opinion anyway on things. But that's I think spirituality for me is something that makes you understand God on a different level in terms of life. Also, it will open your eyes up to a lot more different angles, perspectives, and you start to appreciate life and see things in a different way.
True. I would say when you are religious, you are judgmental of other people, that they're not thinking like you. And this is a very wrong approach. And I think when you're spiritual, you're not as much judgmental as before. How you said it in the beginning of the podcast, you don't know where those people went, and you understand them if they do negative comments, or you understand that's non-judgmental. But when you are of a particular religious group, and they believe they have the truth and nobody else, in that moment, everyone is wrong, and you judge them. And, and another thing is, I read online this, and it resonates with me. It says like this: when you judge someone, you're basically taking on all their negative karma, all their bad karma. It comes up onto you because you judge them. You should not judge them. So basically, you are helping them to cleanse, and you're taking their bad energy by judging them. So I learned this quite recently, actually, 1 year or 2 years now, even though I was on my journey of spirituality, and I realized we need to not judge at all. We never know
100%.
what's
Totally, I totally agree. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the top, I think, Daniel, in terms of not judging anyone. And to be honest with you, when you're not judging, it's almost like, how can I say it? I'm not sure how you feel on energies, basically. And energy for me is very expensive. When I meet someone, basically, I go off their energy. If the energy is good, I can feel that energy. If it's negative, you feel it, and it's almost like, how can I say it? When you meet someone and you're judging them straight away, I think it really does influence that energy, that aura that's around you, and it does have an impact on you, on yourself, because, at the end of the day, like you said, you are making a judgment on someone that you don't even know, you've met for a second. And so evidently that will change everything around you.
Yeah, definitely. How does being highly spiritual mean to you today? How do you practice it?
I practice it daily, and it's not easy sometimes, especially when you're having a difficult day, for example, but I practice it daily. I say my prayers, in my own way, basically, to God, and I say it in my own way, and not to disrespect anybody else, Whereas before I was saying stuff that I didn't even understand, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
It was just an act, Whereas now I understand what I'm saying, what I'm asking for, and things are a lot more clearer for me in terms of seeing the world for what it actually is.
True.
And I've realized that a lot of people that I meet that say I'm spiritual, they've all gone through a phase or a particular trauma in life that's made them really press that pause button and take a step back and reanalyze everything that's, they've been taught from a young age.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure with me, basically, like I say, I had a few experiences that really, I had to hit the pause button and really reevaluate everything that's going on, in the whole world.
Yeah. It's a bit of moment of awakening, how people call it these days, let's say, no?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. An awakening. That's the right terminology. Yeah, it was an awakening, and I find that spiritual people tend to be a lot more godly. This is from my own experience,
Yeah. I feel the same. Another thing that I wanted to add is, for example, how you say, even you said you're praying. So if we are spiritual, doesn't mean we don't pray. Like I pray as well. I still pray, and I'm still going to church sometimes, or I don't know. Are you a Christian too, or going to church?
The way I see myself, I belong to all faiths. I don't really put myself in a group anymore like I used to before. I am everything that's alive and everything that's beautiful on this earth. That's how I see myself at the moment. I don't really put myself in a class like before. I respect people who are religious. Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a go, but that's religious people.
Of course.
I'm everybody in a bundle.
I feel the same. What I was trying to say is that even like I agree with the same with all religions, and I don't really want to put myself into a box of something, if you get me, or think just one has the truth. I'm saying, like, even though I'm spiritual, I still go sometimes to church. I still sometimes pray. That doesn't mean I'm, for example, saying it's not good. It is good, but if you don't take it to the dogma level, if you don't take it to that, like very deep level, and you see just one-sided. So I think because I'm thinking churches, mosques, temples, whatever, they still do a great job, and some people can still get some benefits from there. So my message is not really stop going there. My message is go there, take only what you need, and come back and be open to other things as well, and like, you get me, something like that, if you get me what I was trying to say.
100%, absolutely. You can go to any temple, basically. Go to mosques, church, temple, whatever you want to go to, as long as you don't follow it to an extreme level.
Exactly.
Where you become deaf and blind. Now you're like this, you don't see anything else.
Yes.
I think it's absolutely fine, because at the end of the day, you are going there to feel good about yourself, to spiritually, feel good about yourself, and that's really important. So absolutely, I have no issues with everybody going and worshiping God. That's what those places are for. But I think you have to be very open-minded when you go to these places, and try and see or listen to other perspectives on life as well, not just one way.
Exactly. Don't push every other information that out because it's not with your teaching or something. I know what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
In a world full of distractions, how do you stay connected to your inner peace?
You know what? I think the world right now is going through a dark age, and I think throughout history, if you look at history, I love history and philosophy, so I tend to study it and read it a lot. But if you look throughout history, basically, Earth has good periods and bad periods, and I think at the moment, what's happening to us globally, we're going through a dark age at the moment, and it's just a matter of time. And I think it's just a matter of time before we come out of this dark period and go into the light period. So that's how I'm seeing things at the moment. I am looking forward to the future, because I know this is just a phase that the Earth is going through, or the globe is going through, and it's a tough phase at the moment. I think everyone's feeling it globally. In terms of the guys who are in charge, I think they're all corrupt, every single one. I don't think there's any good men or women left out there, to be honest with you. But we will go through this, and we will come out into the light. And this is how you have to look at life in general. You always have to look to tomorrow and the future with a brightness, rather than look at everything and be negative and gloomy, and things are just going to go bad to worse and all of this. But I think personally myself, it might not be in our lifetime, Daniel. This is the reality. But I'm sure eventually we will come into the stage of light. So that's a given for me.
So that's how you maintain your inner peace, let's say, focusing on the positive and what you can action or do at the moment.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yeah. And we do this on a daily basis. You know, you wake up, and, you know, it might be raining outside. You know, it doesn't mean you're grumpy. You just got to wear the right clothes, you know, so you don't get wet. This is how I look at things at the moment. Rather than a problem, I look at it and say, okay, so what can I do today to, I don't know, better my mood, for example, you know, and not get wet or have a bad day, you know. And I think this all starts when you wake up in the morning. I think mentally, I do a prayer in the morning when I wake up, and that really does help me, puts me in the right mood and the right spirit, you know. And I also take into consideration what everything that I have, and not think about what the stuff that I don't have.
Yeah, you're grateful.
Gratitude and being humble and knowing everything that you have is an absolute gift, you know. True. And it's a blessing that will, you know, definitely set you up for the day. That's how I start my day. That's how mentally I prepare myself before I go out. And I'm a blessed man, so I really cannot complain.
Yeah, I'm the same. I feel the same. Before I was not like this. I was not grateful. I was very, you know, like seeing all the bad sides, all the negatives, but the same. Since I'm more grateful, and how you say, prayer, gratefulness, when you wake up and you realize I'm healthy, you know, I have a roof over my head, I have food, I have 2 arms and 2 legs. Some people don't have that.
Yes.
Some people are sick, some people have terminal illnesses, some people dies today, and we are very blessed just to be alive, no matter anything else. Even just that you wake up, we are so blessed every day.
100%. And you know, tomorrow is not guaranteed, Daniel. That's the thing. So you might be for today, and tomorrow you might not be here. I watched a very beautiful clip. There was an old man celebrating his birthday. I think he was celebrating his 98th or 99th birthday. And they asked him, how old are you? And his answer was, I'm 1 day old. Oh, wow. And I was thinking, what does that mean? He's 1 day old. This is an old man, you know? But what he actually meant was, I'm 1 day old, as in I'm experiencing the moment today. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. So this is my birthday. Yes, it's my 99th birthday, but I'm 1 day old. I woke up this morning and I'm 1 day old again. So this is his perspective on life and how he was looking at life. So, and I think when you see clips like this, it really makes you question everything that, you know, that's important in life. You know, you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and you know, you really are. It's a fresh day. You know, regardless of what's happened in the past or what's happened yesterday, you're awake to a fresh day, and this is really important to look at life like this.
Yeah, of course, all the time, and that's the present moment is everything that matters. You know, because the past is gone away, it's not here anymore. You can't do anything about it. You can just accept it and move on and learn the lessons. And the future is not yet here. So don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. Just this present moment, this present day, just enjoy this.
So true. So true. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think this is something that we tend to forget from time to time, you know, we don't enjoy the moments. We get so sidetracked about, oh, I need this, I need to buy this, I need to do this, I need to do that. And you really forget about the moments that, you know, like right now, for example, you're giving me your time, which is the most precious thing that anybody can give you. So I appreciate this a lot, Daniel. You know,
yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time as well, and we're doing this together. And hopefully, we already have a nice discussion. I think the right people, or the people who really needs it, they will see some value in this. You know,
100%, absolutely. And I truly believe that, you know, we are going places. You know, in our own paths, in our own way, we will eventually reach the level that we want to reach. And it's just a matter of time. And I truly believe this, you know. And if you don't, you know deep down that you've done your best and you've tried everything. So you're at peace with yourself.
Exactly. You don't have regrets, at least, yes.
Absolutely. No regrets.
Yeah. Do you believe spirituality can help people suffering from depression and anxiety?
I think so. Definitely. Yeah. I think if you take your heads out of the box. I know a lot of people tend to go for the books to find solutions and answers and everything else. I think spirituality is very important when it comes to healing yourself. And one of the main reasons why I say this is because if you're spiritual, for example, you learn to connect to what's around you, you know? Like, for example, you go to the park, okay? Sun is shining, you'll appreciate the sun, the blue skies, the clouds, the green trees, the ducks, the river. You know, all of this, you start to see things in a completely different way, you know? And I'm not saying that you're religious, you can't cure yourself that way. A lot of people, you know, tend to find, you know, meaning in God and, you know, in religious studies, and they tend to find answers there. So that's another path. But for me, I think spirituality just makes you look at the world completely different. Like, you know, I cycle to work, for example. I'm just using this as an example, right? If I'm having a bad day, right? I go and I'm riding, for example, it's cloudy. Then the sun comes out, and I look at the sun. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
What a
very
beautiful.
grateful. You enjoy it very much, no?
That's right, yeah. And I'm cycling through a park, and it's a beautiful park, and I say to myself, oh wow, what a blessing! Look at the park, look at the green grass. How many people can actually experience this?
True.
Blue skies, the sun is out, beautiful park. Basically, you're cycling in one of the most incredible places, on earth. Basically, how many people wish to be in your shoes? How many people dream to have this type of experience?
Yes,
and this is the kind of stuff when you're spiritual, I think you can really tap into and appreciate. It's the small things that you have on a daily basis that you don't take for granted.
True, very true.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to shift from religious to spirituality but feels guilty or scared?
That's a really tough question, Daniel. And I can only speak according to my own experience, how I shifted from, being very religious to being very spiritual. Is I started reading different books, and I started to question things a lot more. True. Rather than just follow it, blindly. And then the bottom line is basically once you start studying and really looking at history as a whole, there are certain things that have taken place in history, and I'm talking about like thousands of years ago, that's really changed religions, the major religions of the world, completely to what they are today. Yeah. And I think what's happened is it's become more of a what's the right terminology? I don't want to sound too rude by saying this. It's become almost like a cult-like thing that people follow now, without question, without doing any research themselves. They go to, I don't know, to the church or the mosque or
they
temple.
Follow blindly.
Yes, yeah. A guy will come and, people put their faith and their trust in this guy to tell the truth. Yeah. They don't go and read and take time out to understand it properly themselves. And what's happened is, I think all the religions, all the major religions throughout time, basically, they've cunningly and very cleverly have adapted this system basically on a year-to-year basis to change things and just to, in a way, basically brainwash you to just follow what they say and what you think is right.
For example, they don't teach you at least to go inside yourself, because all the answers is inside us already. So that's the thing, like they want you to search for it just in their places, just in their own way that they teach you, and they don't want you to, maybe read a book and maybe go inside of yourself, going internally, have a prayer and meditation about the things and the new light that shines on you when you read a new book, and that will help, but they don't want that sometimes.
No, definitely not. I think they try very hard to hide the truth, and I think if too many people know the truth, then their whole system that they've created for thousands of years basically will collapse eventually. And I think personally myself, I think the way things are going right now, people will eventually wake up slowly and become a lot more spiritual. Because if you are spiritual, then you really do become a better human being, in my opinion. You don't question things. You question things when the things are wrong, and your perspective on the whole life journey changes, and especially when it comes to meeting different people from different walks of life. Yeah,
definitely. How do a creator can stay authentic when so many just want to tell something?
It's very true. That's what we're doing right now, Daniel, isn't it? We're staying true to ourselves, and that's very important. What you're doing right now, I like I say, I really absolutely admire you. You're taking time out. Your dedication is so good, and I can see that you are heading somewhere big. And I'm gonna watch your journey, and hopefully, see how far you can push it, and maybe one day we can share a stage together. And a room full of guys just like me and you talking right now.
Yeah. Why not? We're hoping for the best, and we're trying our best. Yeah. So who knows?
Definitely. And I think as long as you do your best, that's what counts. And along the way, I am 100% sure that you've already changed a few lives, and you've already made a few people that that were going through bad times change the way they look at life already. So I'm pretty sure you yourself, coaching with Dion, the game changer, all of these guys, 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But how do you think we can stay authentic when other people they just want to sell something? How can me, you, the game changer, how can we stay authentic when, other people, maybe they're too commercial or they just want to sell us something? What do you think about this?
I think you have to stay true to yourself. I
Okay.
think if you stay true to yourself and to the cause and remember why you started this, I think if you stay true to that, you will be fine. Me personally, I'm not looking to make money out of this, to be honest with you. If money comes, then of course it's a blessing. But it's not about the money. It's about the journey. It's about learning about myself, learning from others, like myself, basically, like yourself and the game changer. I listen to your podcast and all these different clips that you put out, and it just makes you connect and rethink and revalue everything that you might be going through at the time. And I think as long as you're authentic to yourself and being true to yourself, I think you don't have anything to worry about. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I believe that. I agree with that. So I seen you also posting similar to me, like motivational, inspirational content, planting seeds. Would you class yourself as a motivational speaker?
That's a good question. I have to be honest, I don't really, initially when I started, yes, I was thinking of going into motivational speaking, but right now it's not so much about motivational speaking for me. It's about leaving a glimpse of what I'm about and what my life is all about and the things that are important for me behind into small clips. And I'm kind of hoping that others will see. Yes, exactly. And, they get motivated to change their lives.
True.
So maybe not so much. I will do this motivational speaks from time to time. But right now I'm leaving something behind that I hope people can see.
Yeah.
And, maybe take a step back and just for a second think and revalue what they're going through at the moment. And maybe I'm hoping it's going to inspire them to basically make a change. That's what I am aiming to do. But yes, motivational speaking, I also enjoy it as well. I will do that from time to time. But I really hope that, that I can not just talk the talk, as they say. I want to show people it's not just about sitting behind the camera and saying, yes, it's good to do this and do this and do this. I want to show them that I'm also practical. I preach what I talk. When I say, guys, go out, go do some camping, go for a hike, I don't know, go abroad, enjoy a little holiday. Life is short, enjoy the moments. That I'm actually showing you guys, I'm living proof that you can actually do this, Work hard. I'm not saying don't work hard. Work hard, make the money, but make sure you take time out to enjoy life as well. Life is really, really such a gift. I cannot tell you, how much of a precious gift it is.
Yeah, you're right. I feel a bit the same like you, like when I started, I was like motivational speaker, I still want to do it, to motivate people, inspire, but I feel, you see, because I'm learning as I'm walking, so I don't know exactly how I'm gonna achieve and what, and I think it's because of this, I don't know, branding and marketing, and people, they tell you should post in a certain way and you should do a certain, speak about certain things that they tell you to. So I think the same, like that was like I wanted to do this, but I feel like I'm getting lost into this, like it's not really me, like I just need to, how you say, and I'm thinking now to change a bit the content, in the sense that, anyway, if you look on my YouTube, for example, not on TikTok, I have podcasts the same like I have this one with you. I have also video by myself. I also have a vlog with myself walking in the park. So I think the direction will be this, the same, like walk the walk, like do the things that I'm actually preaching. And I think my content will be even more diverse, because I don't know, I feel like the same, they put you in a box, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, 100%. I totally agree. You know what, Daniel? Again, you have to bear in mind that there is a system in place, and this system, if you don't obey by the laws and the rules and stuff like this, it'll be very hard to break. So I completely understand. I was doing a lot of research when I first started. I think I read somewhere you have to post 5 times a day, and you have to be posting at different times, and use this hashtag, that hashtag. And I almost fell into this trap of how can I tell you? You want to become successful. I don't know how to tell you. You want to make it big. You want to become like almost like an influencer, if you like. I almost fell into this, and then for a second I was like, hold on a second, what am I doing? This isn't even me. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have the time to be posting 5 times a day.
Yes,
I'm a
yes.
working man, basically. You know, I got family to look after and all of this. This is not going to work. So the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is just be you. And,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
do what you enjoy doing. Be yourself, you know, put yourself on the camera. Show the people that, you know, you're not just a one-trick pony, as they say. You sit in a studio and you just record and all of this. You know,
Yeah.
so I have come across your other clips as well, just to let you know, Daniel. So I have
Actually,
seen them. Yeah, absolutely. So keep up
thanks.
the good work. I think that you're doing the right thing, in my opinion. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And you're leaving something of yourself behind. Maybe
yeah,
not today, not tomorrow, Daniel. You know, maybe in a few years' time,
yeah,
someone will
exactly.
come across and appreciate the content that you're making.
Hopefully, yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, you two as I think you two as well. I think we both are on the right direction. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
about positivity at the end of the day. As long as you
Yes.
can make a change to someone's life, I think that's the most important thing. Not the money, not the fame, not anything else. Yeah.
True. True.
I'll tell you a true story. In the line of work that I do, you know, I deal with a lot of. Not now. I stopped this because it was really affecting the way how things were. I was in a place where I was dealing with, say, the top 10% of the world. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
I can't tell you too much,
Yeah.
unfortunately, about, but I was dealing with extremely not millionaires. I was dealing with billionaires, basically. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
and sorry, let me just declare. So I was dealing with a lot of rich people.
Yeah.
And the sad truth is that, you know, from my experience working with these guys for 2 years almost, none of them have any lives. They have all the money in the world. But believe me when I tell you this, none of them are happy. All of them are on the edge.
Yeah.
They don't have any families, basically, Daniel. They
Mm.
have everything, but they have the most precious thing that me and you enjoy on a daily basis.
But
They
they don't
don't
have
have
to.
it.
Yeah.
They don't have it. They don't have peace. You know, they can't sleep properly. And
Yeah.
I tell you a true story. I don't want to take too much of your time.
No, it's
But there
all
was one guy that I met on a private jet. As he was coming out of his private jet, basically, he stopped. He paused. He was an old man, and I thought, oh, something's wrong with him. You know, maybe he's about to collapse. So I ran up the stairs trying to hold him. He goes, no, I'm fine. There was another plane opposite this his plane, which was a bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I tell you his exact words. Whose plane is that? His plane is bigger than mine. And because of that, he was almost, you know,
Yeah.
When I touched his chest, basically, it was going like a million miles an hour.
Wow, that's crazy. He was actually
That
upset.
is a true story, just so you can get a glimpse of the issues and the problems which these guys have, you know?
Yeah.
So this is what we have. Believe me when I tell you this, we are so blessed to have what we have, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think once you start to realize this, you know, life can only get better. This is it.
Yeah, I have a relatable story. The same like me. I tried. I'm still doing sometimes photography, videography when I get inquiries, but my marketing is really bad. Like I'm not really having enough clients or stuff. And I was going to networking events because they tell you when you open a business or you're self-employed, you need to go to these networking events, you know. And me basically with a brand new business, never had a business before, and just trying to see how it works. And you go there and there are people with businesses that they work, they do money from them, and like you can see them. And the same, like I was thinking I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna find happy, fulfilled people, or something like the missing piece. But actually I go there and I see all of them the same. They are looking for something, searching for something, or looking to make more money. And some of them, they can't even speak with you until they don't go to the bar and have 1 or 2 or 3 beers. So
Yes.
I was like, I don't want to be like this. I'm like, or like even some, like I'm like, why do you feel the need? So you can't even socialize and speak with someone until you don't have a drink. Something is wrong. So these people are not exactly what I want to become. Do you get me?
Yes, 100%. It's like an eye opener, isn't it? You know, you see, okay, don't get me wrong. I used to chase money like crazy back in the day.
To a certain degree.
Yeah. I think it's a phase that as a man maybe you'll have to go through. Because you want to. Okay, you think money is the one, but you realize that it's not so much about the money. Because money, if you have it in abundance, it will change you, and I don't think it will change you for the better. This is the reality.
Yes, true. I think it's okay to have even more money, but for example, after you've done the inner work, after you are spiritual, after, because now, for example, we can now think, okay, if I'm gonna have money, okay, of course I'm gonna have a house, a car, whatever, a modest, but okay, what I'm gonna do with the rest? I'm gonna invest in maybe helping more people, or I'm gonna do some charity, or I'm gonna open a project that. So I don't think money is bad, but I think it's bad when you're chasing just money. That's the worst thing, when that's the main focus, when money is the main focus. And money is an amplifier. So if someone is a douchebag, when they'll have a lot of money, he'll be a bigger douchebag, when you get me. But if someone is really nice and and good person, when he'll have more money, he'll be a better person. But I get your point too.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think you have to go through the stages, and I think once you go through the stages and then you're ready and you get the money, I think that's a good thing, definitely, because money then becomes a tool for you to do things and change things, But I think if you have money at a certain stage in your life and you're a little bit off the rail, I think can become dangerous. 100%.
Like 5 years ago, I think about 5 years ago, I was in a very dark place. I was smoking, drinking, even using substances, and drugs and things like that. And I was speaking with a friend of mine, that the friend that was in that time, and we were like, why we never have money? How can we make money? Why other people have money? And somehow, even though I was in a dark place and my mind was all over the place, and you get me, full of vices, and I was not even spiritual, not even religious, at least nothing. So, and I was like really bad, and it came to me. I was like, if we would have now a lot of money, we would destroy ourselves. Because we were in a stage that every weekend we were spending all the money on alcohol and on drugs. So it was like, and we really enjoyed it. Like it was like for us at that moment, it was a really good time. So I was like, if I told him, listen, that's why we don't have money. I told him, that's why we don't have. I said, imagine what would we do if we had the money that we want, or what we want. I think we will be like in parties for a week, or like we're gonna buy a lot of. You get me what we're gonna buy?
Absolutely, absolutely,
And that was God's protection.
Yeah, I totally agree. He saved you basically from God forbid, overdosing, or maybe going into a spiral of a really bad life. So. Yeah, but look, you went through a phase that you had to go through in order to become the man that you are now. This is something that life is all about. You have to go through a certain stage for you either to wake up or to realize, hold on a second, I need to change my my direction.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you have to go through that. Unfortunately, it's part of life.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. What do you think is a misconception about motivational speakers or creators such as me or you?
I think the misconception of motivational speakers, for me personally, it's now got to a point where if somebody goes viral, it's for a reason. And I truly believe that the motivational speakers that you see all around are exceptionally good and exceptionally, great at what they do. I think there is a stronger source or third party behind them that pushes these certain individuals with their ideologies or the way they think and everything forward. Whereas someone normal like me and you, basically, who are actually trying to change lives and, helping people out, we are blocked off completely.
Yeah.
And this is what I think.
When they are posting 50 videos or 100 because they have a team behind, and we are posting one video once in a while, we also don't have a chance.
Yes, absolutely. So this is, I think there's a dark truth behind it. I think when it comes to social media and all these guys that make it big and they become like global superstars overnight. But in reality, I think motivational speakers like yourself or like myself and the Game Changer and coaching with Lady Dion and all of this, it's very difficult to break through and come out on the other side because the system is designed against us. This is the reality. They don't want people like me and you to make it big and for the normal average Joe to hear us and to relate to us. They want all this handpicked and handcrafted, if I can use that word, motivational speakers to come out and push their agendas and their ideologies across. And I think this is the biggest barrier that we face, and the biggest difference between us and them is we are true and those guys are a product of a certain group pushing their ideology. Yeah.
How do you handle this negativity or criticism that you get online sometimes, maybe?
I've had a few comments on, because I have a YouTube channel as well that I post stuff on. It's pretty much very similar to this, or I post funny clips basically to make people smile. But the truth is, if someone's, like I say, if someone's making a bad comment on my video, now I see that as a positive engagement. I don't see it as a negative engagement. It's one comment that I that I couldn't get, that I got from someone that's negative, or having a maybe I pushed the wrong button. And, absolutely. And in life you're gonna come across people that disagree to you, and they will never be on the same page and never see the world from your angle. But another very important factor for me personally, if I don't know the person, for example, if the person that's making that negative comment for me was in front of me, okay, I don't know that person at all. God forbid, I'm just using this as a terminology, If that person, suddenly faints in front of me, in terms of my emotions as a human being, of course I'll help them, but I'm not connected to that individual. So him making that negative comment on my page, it really has no impact on me whatsoever, emotionally, mentally, nothing at all. I just see it as a positive engagement. Somebody left a comment on my thing, which is better than nothing. That's how I see it. Nothing else. It doesn't affect me, and I don't let it affect me at all. This is something that I picked up along the way as I'm getting older and older now. You can't please everybody, and not everyone is going to see the world from your perspective.
Then you also realize that hate comes only from underneath, from people that they're under you, not from people that are more, in life, usually.
100%. Absolutely. That's a great saying, by the way. I love that.
Let's get now to nature and hikes. Why do you hike? What does hiking give you that nothing else can?
I started hiking seriously, like I say, about 4 or 5 months ago. I've been hiking on and off for the past 10-15 years, but I seriously started this because last year I had one appendix removed. And before that, I was very active, going to the gym, playing football, and keeping myself really fit. But I had a few complications with the surgery, and there's a lot of stuff that I can't do like before now because of the surgery. So that really made me realize how fragile life really is. You can go from being up here to suddenly being down here. So I had to basically find a way for my own sake, basically for my own mental health, to kind of distract myself and find a new hobby, if that makes sense. So I said, okay, let me make it my priority that once a month I will go somewhere. I'll pick a new spot every time. Basically, I've got an app basically that I use. Pick a new spot basically, and go there and hike for the whole day. Just get into nature and get away from reality a little bit. And so I started hiking, and I remember it was winter time and it was quite cold as well. But you know what? Again, I pushed myself. I didn't want to do it, especially when the weather's bad. You don't really want to do it. I was like,
you don't feel like
do this. But once you're actually out there in the elements and you're walking, whether it's rainy, whether it's cold, whether it's windy, everything becomes irrelevant because you're out in the nature. You're enjoying the views. You're enjoying the moment. Exactly. And I think you have to realize that life really is about the moments. It's not about your job or your family always and all of this. It's so important as a human being to take time out from everything and from responsibility, just to enjoy life and the moments that you have. And this is one of the main reasons why I chose hiking, because when I go hiking, I don't think about my job or family or friends or anything like that. I am in the moment. I'm in my own element. I choose what I want to do, what I want to eat, what I want to see, and all of this. And you know what? It's done wonders for my mental health, and I cannot, tell or recommend it enough to everybody to make sure that you take time out to yourself. And you know what? When you hike, you kind of clear your mind, so it helps you think better as well, and really appreciate life a lot more.
You see things differently, and clearer.
Definitely,
Can you share a moment during a hike when you had a personal breakthrough or insight?
A personal breakthrough. I was hiking in Wales, and this was last summer. I was in Snowdonia, and I got lost. in Snowdonia, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I took a wrong turn, and my phone battery died. It was a mess, to be honest with you. And if you go to Wales, basically, and everybody who hikes in Wales, if you go to Snowdonia, it's always cold. Even though it was July, it's freezing. It's not the place where you can go.
Yeah.
And it was my first time there, so I got lost in the mountains. I was near the coast, thankfully. So I had to climb a mountain, but bearing in mind, I've already hiked for 4 or 5 hours already. Now I've got no water, no food, no phone. Everything is literally out of the window. Exactly, yeah. There was a mountain that I had to climb to get to the main road, but this climb, Daniel, was through the trenches. Then there was a river I had to cross, and then it was one of the hardest climbs, or mountain climbs that I've ever done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was very scared because it was getting dark. I remember it was around 6 or 7 in the evening, and I was already very tired. So I had two choices: either I sleep there in the night and try and wake up in the morning, or I can climb this mountain and go through it. I said to myself, it's impossible. There's no way I can do it. However, something in me just told me, you know what, you got to go for it. And you got to push yourself, push your limits, as they say. Because I usually hike around 4 or 5 hours, and that's it. I'm done, Daniel. I'm getting old now. I'm not like 20 anymore. Yeah. So, but something inside me, it's very strange. I don't know how to. You mentally kind of get this. It's almost like a sixth sense. I don't know how to tell you. Oh, sorry. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Something told me to just basically push through this and go through the mountains, right? So I climbed the mountains, and I went over the mountains, and I never forget this view when I got to the top of the mountain.
I can imagine, yeah.
It was one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen. So if that didn't happen to me, Daniel, and I didn't push myself mentally and physically to reach that spot, right? When they say when you get to a certain level and everything changes. I got to the top, and you can see there was a road all the way down, basically the mountain all the way down. Then there was the main road which led to the village, which I could take a taxi from. But on the other side, you had the sea. The sun was going down, and I said to myself, if this never happened to me and I never pushed myself, and never got to the mountaintop, I would have missed this entire view. So that moment for me is still like, as I'm talking to you right now, I can still see it in front of my eyes. It was one of the most surreal spots that I've ever been to, and it came out of a negative situation and turned into such a positive situation. So that for me was a breakthrough in terms of my hiking abilities and pushing boundaries, if you like, on the day.
Yeah, I get you. That's really beautiful. Yeah. We spoke before about the TikTok, and you said you also have a YouTube channel. Maybe now is the time to just, if you want to say your socials like TikTok and YouTube, because so we don't forget after.
Yes, absolutely. The YouTube channel is called the Live Show channel, which you can find it yourself, and the brand is called the Albatross brand. And for TikTok, basically, you can Google either my name, we can Ali B, and it should come up, or you can use the. I think on TikTok I've got Albatross, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I will attach the links anyway. But I just remember we had that question, and it's good to just say it. And people, if everyone is interested, they just can find there. But I will also put them in the description as well.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. So yeah, on TikTok it's called the Albatross brand, and on YouTube it's called the Live Show channel. So feel free to basically follow me, and it will be I would appreciate your support as always.
Yeah, guys, ask him anything, and because we sometimes, with new creators, we need to be asked and know what you want to see, and maybe Ali can share his unique opinion about it. Now back to the question. Sorry for that. Do you ever feel lonely in solitude, or is that part of the healing?
I never feel lonely in solitude. Never. I've never felt lonely. No. I think to find answers and to heal yourself. I really think being in a solitude place has less distractions. Basically, allows you to focus on yourself a lot more as well, without all the third parties being involved and everybody giving their own opinions and everybody saying what they think is right. So in solitude, I would say if you really want to know who you really are, I think you need to seek solitude and really be by yourself. That's the best place where you can find the answers that you're looking for.
True, and I think why people they don't really like this or the solitude, and they just try anything not to be in solitude. So you see them texting everyone, or they trying to go and do stuff but not stay in this solitude, is because when you're in solitude, all the thoughts that all your actions, all your past actions actually that you ever done, your consciousness tries to process them now, because now you give him the time when you are in this solitude. So because before you never process them, you all the time run from them. When you be in solitude, the first, I don't know, first weeks, months, maybe, who knows, depends how so what will happen, it will bring one by one, and it's scary. You don't like it, and you realize actually everything that you done wrong in that solitude. And with time, after you process them, I think it's the part of accepting them, healing them, forgiving yourself, and understanding it. Why did you do that? Because I think when people go first, or at least for me, that's how it was. When I first gone in solitude and I stayed with myself, everything came back to me. Oh, especially the bad stuff, especially every moment that I waste, every time when I didn't appreciate a person, the time that I didn't spend, maybe the moments that I lost. Like now, how you said, I'm going now when I see such a sunny day, I'm so grateful for it. And imagine, for 30 years, I never seen that. So I was living like a robot and never seeing the sunset, the sunrise, or the sunlight. Or like now I'm going all the time when I'm going now out of the house, I'm just looking up to the sky straight away. Before I was walking like this, because I was sad all the time. I was heavy. I was like, like I couldn't be grateful for anything. I was just in my head, So I think that's the thing with solitude. It's scary at the beginning. And that's why people, instead of going to this reassessment of everything that they done in their past, the consciousness will bring that, so you process them. But after you process them, and if you process them correctly, and you just realize, you understand yourself, you understand why you did it, even if it's wrong stuff and bad stuff, you realize you did the best what you could do at that moment, or you mistaken and you are prepared not to repeat that mistake, and you just accept as part of life and part of growing. And after that, solitude becomes all about gratefulness. It becomes very easy. After that, it's very easy to be in solitude. The same, how you said you are happy in solitude. I'm the same now. I'm like, I can stay in solitude. I'm like a very introverted, and it's okay. It's very nice.
That's fantastic. No, I think you're absolutely right. Just like we fast to cleanse the body, and I think, in my opinion, you seek solitude to cleanse the mind, and this is how I see it. But yeah, definitely. I think this is the way I see it. But you have to bear in mind, you said that in the past where, you were like a robot that was very much the same. Basically, you wake up at a certain time, you go do the same thing, and then you go home. But you have to remember that we are fighting a system at the end of the day. This system has been placed here for a reason. And yes, exactly. And it takes a long time, or you have to go, like you said, like in your case, for example, you have to go through something to wake up and realize, hold on, there's more to this than just meets the eye,
Yes, definitely. What would you say to someone who's afraid of being alone with their thoughts?
If you're having difficulty with your thoughts, and it's, when we're talking about you're having really bad thoughts, I think you have to seek professional help, for one. If you're in a very dark place, and you definitely got to seek some professional help. And luckily, we live in a place or in a time where there are services where you can go to. But if we're talking about like everyday stuff as a man or as a woman, basically, and you're going through some hard times, I think what you need to do is just press that pause button and take a step back. Don't try and take on more stuff while you're going through hardship, because sometimes what happens is you're trying to help somebody else, for example, and you're having a hard time yourself. One, you do more damage to yourself, and you're not really helping the other person, because you're not putting yourself as priority, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So from time to time, don't be shy to say, no, I can't do it, I need time out. Press that pause button, take time out, basically, to go traveling a little bit, or just to rest a little bit. Sometimes what we need, as human beings, is just to rest, and recuperate, and then go again.
True.
So if you are having through if you're going through a hard time, basically, just press that pause button and, stop life for a second, and just take time out for yourself. do something that you enjoy, whether it's sports, football, watching movies, going to coffee shops, meeting friends. That's it. But like I say, if you are in a very bad place, I think you should definitely seek professional help. That's priority. And then if you're, if it's something that you can deal with, and you can deal with, then yeah, absolutely, by all means, just press that pause button and take time out.
Yeah, and I think also prayer helps with this. I think if, for example, for people, there are some people that they never prayed or they never, did anything. I think for if they are in that stage, for them even prayer can help if they don't have a connection with God, with their spirituality, with whatever, you get me, but some kind of connection. I think sometimes also that can help them a bit to get a bit of connection with with God, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Prayer goes a long way, Daniel, as we both know.
Yeah.
If you can do that, that's a bonus, 100%. I didn't want to mention prayer because some people might not be religious, so that's why
I know,
said
but I know that, but I think I mean, from my personal view, if they are not, they are not. It's okay if they want to listen or no. I'm just saying my opinion. You get me? So
Yeah.
I don't think it's okay for me to try to censor my how to say, you get me, my content, because I'm gonna be afraid. Many people, they are not maybe religious, but we are speaking here about prayer, not necessarily in a religious context, even in a spiritual context. You get me? I'm just
Very true.
that's
Very
one.
true.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. If if you can, find time to pray, absolutely, by all means. I think prayers for me help a lot, and if you can find time out to pray, and I think a prayer goes a long way as well, Daniel. And I'm sure you've noticed it as well. In terms of calming the soul down and reconnecting with everything around you and God.
Mentally sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it does help to shut everything off as well. I don't know in your case, but in my case, when you're praying, it's like everything is shut off. You're connecting with God, and it's a different feeling. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
True. You said you don't watch the news. How do you stay informed without being overwhelmed by negativity?
I stopped watching the news a long time ago, Daniel. Maybe about 10 years ago, if not, maybe even longer, to be honest. And one of the main reasons is just because everything is negative about the news, regardless if it's BBC, I don't know, Fox News, CNN, I don't know, LBC, whatever it is, basically, whether it's on the radio or TV, everything just negative, and it doesn't help necessarily with your or my mental state of mind. I don't want to be reminded, this guy got, I don't know, he got unalived, basically. This country got bombed. This place is like this. This place got raided. This place, and it's just negative stuff of negative. And I don't think, I don't really believe in any of these news channels. For one, I think it's all controlled heavily. Exactly. So that's why I stopped watching it. And the reason if it's very important, work colleagues and everybody else is going to be talking about it. So I will find out through them. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. There's don't get me wrong. If it's, I do like my sports, like boxing, MMA, football, stuff like this. Yes, I do enjoy it and I do watch it. But again, I wouldn't go to what do you call it, for example, to something that I don't know, something that anything that's negative, basically. In an environment where it's negative, I would not put myself into that environment or watch something that's negative. I'd rather just basically watch a game of football, for example, on the TV, and I know, okay, this team beats this team. It's not. Even though it might be, it's not negative, and I enjoy it. Yes,
it doesn't put a lot of negative thoughts in your mind or ideas, or I get you.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what this is one of the main reasons why I don't watch the news, and I haven't watched it for many years. And I say, if it's very important, then you hear it from a colleague or somebody, or you see a newspaper someone's holding, and you just read the front cover, and you get, like stuff like this.
Yeah. If it's really important, you'll find out somehow.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are some truths about the world that you believe most people are blind to?
I think we've been told that this world is not a beautiful place, and it's a harsh place, and it's not a safe place. And everything that they tell you, I think, is a lie. The world is beautiful. Every culture that you meet, every person that you meet, we have more in connection with one another than what the media shows us,
True. The ones are divided.
Yeah, absolutely. They want us divided, and they want to rule us basically through petty things, and it's really unfortunate in the 21st century, Daniel. People still, unfortunately, fall for these little tricks that the media or social media or the news basically pulls down on us. It's like almost how can I put it? You're almost brainwashed into thinking that this is the truth and this is the only way, But I think it's all a lie. This world is a beautiful place, as you can see from my TikToks. I go to different places. I've traveled to different countries, and I have a wonderful time. And the world is a beautiful place. And regardless of no matter how much they try and tell us it's not, I think eventually more and people will wake up by watching podcasts like this or channels like yourselves. Basically, you will realize there's a lot more to life than meets the eye, and the world really is a beautiful place. It's not as bad as they make it out to be.
True.
Yeah.
Can people be spiritual and still care about what's going in the world?
Absolutely, 100%. I think if you're spiritual, you are definitely more connected with everything that's going on in the world, whether it's the seas or the mountains or the weather. You are more connected to Earth as one of God's creations, and of course, everything around us is God's creations. And if you're spiritual, then you know that you can feel everything around you, from the spider in your house to the bees outside to the trees, the flowers, everything that you see around you. You're all connected, and we are all part of the same drawing and the same picture, if you like.
Yeah, true. I think so. What you're saying basically is, by being spiritual, you are even more caring about what's happening in the world, or more considerate about other people and what they're going through and stuff like that, I think, no?
Definitely. Yeah, I think you're definitely more open-minded to everything that's surrounding you, even to the person that's religious in front of you. He might not see things your way, and he might be like this, and just follow his own path. But you know why he's like that. You understand him better because you're spiritual, you're open-minded. You see him for what it is.
And you've been there, maybe.
Pardon me?
And you've been there, where that person is.
Yes, definitely.
Or you get me? We can relate to them.
Yeah, absolutely. You can relate. You can be sympathetic. You can just nod your head and agree to what they say, because they're not going to change your way, no matter, regardless of what you say. They are set in their ways, and they believe that this is the only way and this is the correct way, which is fine if that's what you believe. Part of spirituality is live and let live, basically. But you understand things on a certain level that I think a lot of religious people will never comprehend or understand. And this is my personal opinion only.
Mm-hmm. What does live and let live really mean to your practical life?
Live and let live is you living your life godly on earth. And when I say godly, is respecting everyone around you, having love for, absolutely, yeah, and allowing everybody to be free and have their own opinions and have their thoughts and practice whatever they want to practice and everything. And live and let live, for me, this is the bottom line. You don't argue, you don't hurt anybody, and you treat everybody like a human being.
Yeah.
Regardless of their background, religious beliefs, and everything. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, they're a creation of God, and God lived through all of us. If you look at all the messengers that came from the beginning of time, basically, they were all men like me and you. And God works through His means, and His means are people like you and me, Daniel. This is how this world works. And when you're spiritual, you tend to understand this a lot more. You might be going through a bad time, like I say, or you need some help, and a random stranger comes along and helps you out, and that's how God works.
Yeah,
God doesn't do a miracle and come down Himself and do God said, yes, exactly. And I think when you understand this, then you understand live and let live properly.
Yeah, you're right. How does sport like football, boxing, or MMA fit into your self-growth journey?
Oh, that is a good one. I used to play a lot of football before. Almost to the point of semi-professional before I got injured. So sports has always played a very influential part of my life, basically. And it's taught me a lot in terms of being strong, having the right frame of mind, knowing myself better in terms of physically, mentally, and what's happened is, through that, if I didn't have the sports, I probably wouldn't be the person that I am today, in terms of having that strong mental mindset, physically I'm not as fit as I used to be, but I'm still in decent shape, for my age.
Yeah.
And all of this I got thanks because of football and a bit of MMA training that I used to do a long time ago. So all of this has really made me into the person that I am today in terms of physically and mentally. But at the same time, it's taught me a valuable life lesson that, enjoy the moments, because you never know when that last game or the last run or that last trip might come.
Yeah, you're right. And related now to sport, the way it helped me. So I did a sport when I was like from 14 years old to 20, like very constant, like even like every day gym. I was going to gym, taking proteins and stuff like that. And the way it helped me this is after that, at one point I stopped. I went in that dark period of drinking and taking substances.
Yes.
And the only thing that I really think kept me on a floating level, it didn't let me to totally sink in that, is I was still going to gym from time to time, or all the time when I even after I stopped, I said, okay, I'm gonna stop. I had enough of this. I'm gonna clean myself from those substances. I had where to go back, and I went back to the gym. I went back to doing sport, and I think that helped me with keeping my mind away from addiction, if you get me. So I would really encourage like the viewers, if they can, play sport and do it as any type of sport, running or even walking every day if you do it, but like something, this will keep you out from trouble. Or if you are in trouble, it might take you out of the trouble. And or even if you do it how I did it in the past, it's so like you do it now for 5-10 years, even if something happens and you stop, that will still have an impact over you, the fact that you did that sport for a while, and how you say it gives you that mental toughness. And I think it really helps. Yeah,
absolutely, you're right. I used to have a friend of mine. He was a former MMA fighter, British champion, believe it or not, And I spoke to him once or twice in regards to his past, and he mentioned exactly what you mentioned. He was a drug addict before, and what the reason why he changed his ways was because he found MMA. His friend introduced him to MMA, and he said the substance he used to take basically had to be replaced by something.
Exactly.
So he replaced it by MMA. You go into a gym, get into into this mental shift, if you like, to say, okay, I'm not going to touch this now. This is going to be my new addiction, and that's how he changes perspective. And just like yourself, basically, you have to make that shift, that mental shift, basically say, okay, you know what? Okay, I'm addicted, or I might be addicted to this. Let me make that shift and find a new addiction, if you like,
Exactly,
and why not? Sports, walking, like you say, running, anything is better than nothing. 100%. Exactly. I agree.
Exactly.
Definitely. Fantastic stuff.
What have these physical disciplines taught you about mental strength?
When I was training, basically, and this is going back a while, you always try and push yourself. I don't know how to explain it to you. Like mentally, for me, you start maybe with 10 push-ups, and then after a month, you want to push yourself. You can only do this to yourself through your mental thinking. You say, okay, now I've done 10 already. Let me push myself to 15, for example, or whatever goal that you have to yourself. You mentally set it for yourself. So this already, you're working on your mental capacity to push yourself to new levels and new highs all the time.
Willpower.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So mind power, or mind over matter, or over your body, it's so important. And I think training, or any type of training, basically, whatever it is, you can use that to increase the mental strength in regards to how hard you work, how hard how determined you are to achieve a goal. Basically, you can train your mind to do anything. It doesn't have to be push-ups. It could be a new job. It could be saving for a holiday, doing overtime, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. How can young people today benefit from sports, especially with all the distractions online?
You know what, Daniel? I remember growing up, and things were very different. We never had all these mobile phones and laptops and PlayStations and everything else. It all came afterwards. I think we were probably you're very similar age to me. We were the last generation that actually went out to play.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
this is the sad reality. The world
Yeah.
was different back then. You could go out,
True.
play football from dusk till dawn, and come home
Yes,
and
yes,
shower, eat, and then do the same thing tomorrow.
yes.
Whereas now, I think
I miss those
parents have
things.
changed. Yeah. Social media, phones, PlayStations, and all of this, and it's very difficult to. Whereas before it came naturally, now you have to basically train them to do it. You
Yes,
have to train yourself to basically to do it.
yeah,
Instead of sitting at home on your phone, maybe just put that phone away and mentally prepare yourself, go for a walk, or go for a run, or just maybe just go meet some friends and get out a little bit. But we're heading towards a way where I think the system doesn't want us to get out and socialize anymore.
yeah.
They
No, they don't
prefer
want.
us to, because the less interactions we have with one another, the less trouble we can cause. This is the reality, We can't
Yeah.
share thoughts and minds and learn from one another like we did before.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think yeah, they want us to be alone, depressed, because and also alone, like not in a couple and things like that,
Mhm.
because the phone helps us to remain in this all the time, to be alone and distracted. And when everyone is like this, they consume more, because you get me. For example, a young boy or a young boy, if he will, for example, immediately find a partner and they will get along and they will have both of them godly values and they'll just start a family, everything will be easier. But uh, the system is like they will probably go into the hookup culture. The relationship will not work. They will split after. They will suffer, both of them. And after they will think, oh, maybe if I buy this Gucci bag, I'm gonna attract a better boyfriend. And the guy thinks, if I dress a certain way and I get the latest Nikes, I'm gonna get a better girl. And they like this.
Yeah.
It's more profitable for these people that controls the world to keep us distracted, sad, alone, not connected. So
Definitely.
you are a better customer for them. You are a better. You consume more when you are unhappy, when you are single, and when you don't have godly values, and you fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend. You get me? They want that.
100%. Yeah, I think the system is totally against you at the moment. You have no choice. But what's really dangerous, in my opinion, if you notice, whatever content that you watch on a regular basis, it feeds you the same content.
Yeah.
So if someone, God forbid, gets into watching negative stuff, can you
Yeah.
imagine the destruction and the damage that can have on someone, especially a young man or a young girl growing up?
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, that can have catastrophic results.
Yes.
So this is unfortunately, it's the system that's been placed right now, and it's global and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But if it's not used properly, I think in the wrong hands, it could be, it could do a lot of damage. Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely.
Yeah, and it is by design, because I'll give you an example. I have some few TikToks that, so I like, me looking back on my content, I don't like all of them. I'm honest about it. I don't like. I mean, in the sense that I know I could do better. I want to be better. And that's the way to do it. Want to all the time improve. But I have some that, like, I was finishing and I was really proud, or I was like, this line is so good, or like anyone would hear it, they will be changed by it. And you post it, and TikTok gives you 200 views. And I post something that's not as good, or something that is weird or something, and it gets more views. And I'm like, why you give more views to this and not to this? The algorithms, they promote this mostly stupidity, or mostly things that doesn't really help people. Because if the system will not be against us, they will promote us something better, but they don't, never.
Definitely, yeah. That's why I say everything is controlled. Whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to post, basically, if it's going against the system and their values, if you're promoting like real stuff that actually matter,
they don't
that
like
will
it.
get, they don't like it. It will get pushed aside. They want stuff, silly stuff, or silly content, basically stuff that's I don't want to use the wrong terminology. The stuff that's not important, in my opinion. For example. They push that a lot more because they get a lot more views from it, and somehow I'm sure they're making a lot of money from it as well. But if you're speaking facts like you are at the moment, where you want to talk about God and religion and spirituality, everything like that might actually make a difference. That will be pushed to the bottom of the line, as they say, because you're going against the system. And unfortunately, if you go against the system, it's extremely difficult to, don't get me wrong, I still believe that we can, then you'll make a difference. And we can, keep pushing until you come out of this bottleneck that we're stuck in at the moment. And I think there are a few channels out there that can actually, come out of this bottleneck and slowly progress. So as long as you have the hope and you keep the hope alive, I think you just got to push and keep going.
Yeah, just do what we can. Yeah.
Definitely. Absolutely. Do your best and you've got nothing to worry about.
Cheers. What's one of the hardest personal battles you faced and how did you overcome it?
So this is something I'm still battling at the moment, I haven't really fully overcome, but I could say I'm maybe 80% there. Yeah. One of the biggest things, Daniel, that I really struggled with personally myself was I used to be a people pleaser. I used to go out of my way basically to keep everybody happy and keep everyone pleased with everything that was going on, to the point where it was actually affecting me myself, mentally, physically, that it's affecting me. So it's taking me a very long time to realize, hold on a second, you cannot keep everybody happy, you can't please everybody at the same time. The world doesn't work like this, and now I've reached the point, even now I still do it, but I've learned to stop myself and retrieve myself. So this is what I put in the, yes, exactly.
It was sorry to interrupt. It is a quote that I remember. Empathy without boundaries is self-destruction.
Exactly. And I was heading that way, Daniel. This is the reality, because I was trying to please everybody and then make sure everyone's happy. But I completely forgot about myself. Hold on a second. You have feelings, you have desires, you have needs, and all of this. And that's something that I've always battled from a very young age until now. But like I say, now I've learned to basically put a pause to it and say, hold on a second.
Yeah,
it's okay. This person you don't need to engage with, and you don't need to keep him happy at all. You can keep him, maybe in a separate. What do you call it, in a distance place where you don't have to basically please that individual, or be around that individual that makes you feel a little bit awkward and odd, So I'm still going through it and I'm still battling it, but it's quite a difficult thing to be dealing with. It's not easy. It's taking me a long time to get to where I am now.
Yeah, I get you, but it's good. I think how you said, maybe also with age now you don't care as much what people thinks or what now you're, and that's a good thing. No?
Definitely, yeah. I think like I say, you had a few experiences in life, and age as well. It just makes you realize that, hold on a second, I don't really need all of this. You know what I mean? I prefer to have my peace over anything else, Daniel. Anything that affects my peace right now, I just put a stop to it straight away, because I don't have the time or the energy to spend on those type of individuals there. If you like.
Yeah, I get it. That's good. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what it would be?
That's a very good question. I think if I could go back in time, in theory, of course, I would probably travel a lot more, learn about myself a lot more. And I think if you're a young woman or a young man, basically, and you have an opportunity maybe to take a year or two out of, I don't know, college or university or work even, go and travel the world before you settle down and you do everything that you want to do,
True.
Go and travel the world, because I think through traveling is when you really get to know yourself, get to know the world better, and you meet certain individuals from all different cultures and backgrounds that make you realize what this world and this life is all about. So if I can go back, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's basically gives you or helps you, I think, even faster to have a spiritual awakening, and not only spiritual awakening, but knowing what's up there. So in the moment that you are in England and the government tells you something, or the culture, maybe something upsets you and you don't like it and you think, oh, I'm stuck here. But if you maybe travel a bit more, you realize, actually I've been there, it's a bit different, it's a bit better. Not totally better, but it's better. Then you compare, but I've been the other side too. And I think if especially young people can do this, it can give them a better understanding of what they want to do in life, or where, or they can help even with spiritual awakening. So I think it's a great advice.
100%. I think it's the picture is not always the same as what the governments or what the news portrays on the media. I think it's, if you travel a bit more and you get to know yourself better, I think you will become a better individual. Like you say, you will have this spiritual awakening a lot sooner in life than perhaps in your 40s, 50s, even 60s,
Yes,
so definitely. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
What motivates you on the days when you feel low, unmotivated, or misunderstood?
I think my motivation every morning that I wake up, since having my surgery last year, is just being grateful. Being
Yeah,
grateful that, I'm awake for another day and I have an opportunity to live life for another day.
true.
That type of mentality really gets me through the day now. So regardless of what's happening and what's going on, don't get me
Mhm,
wrong. I have days where I do struggle,
mhm.
but if
Yeah.
you're having a bad day, just know it's just a bad day. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's so,
Yeah.
or a bad moment. It's
Yes.
not forever. It's not permanent, and you're not going through life like this. It's just a phase that, for that day or for that moment. Basically, you're having a bad period. Tomorrow is going to be a fresh day by God's grace, and you can start again. This is how I motivate myself on a daily basis. And like you say, prayer for me really goes a long way.
Yeah.
I
For me
I
too.
pray. I pray throughout the day.
Mhm.
I'm working and I'm praying, if that makes sense. I don't know if
Yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah.
relate to it.
Me, the way I do it is morning
Mm,
and night, every morning and every night. And especially if something bad happens over the day, or if I get stressed or anxious about something, or something happens, especially in that moment, also I also pray. So,
yeah,
but everyone is different. How you say, maybe is not a wrong or correct way to do it. I think do
that's
it as you
right.
feel, no, probably. But I think it's a good practice.
100%, 100%. There are days where you're more spiritual than others, as they say.
Yeah,
Where I
yeah,
have days where I'm relaxed. I say my prayers, and but it's
yeah,
not as deep as where I might have
yeah,
some days that okay, you know what, I feel quite.
yeah.
I need to do this. You get the feeling, okay,
Yes,
you know what, today is one of those days that I need to be a bit more spiritual, and you
yes,
you know pray a lot more.
yeah,
So it's like this for me at the moment. I don't take it like it's a hardship, like it's an act, is that you have to do it like this. No,
yeah,
like I say, I have days that I'm less spiritual, and I have days that are extremely spiritual. So
yeah.
this is the way that I get through my days and weeks and months at the moment.
That's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, what's the one message you hope people take away from listening to this episode with us?
I sincerely hope that people live their lives. Be true to yourself. Live life the way you want to live. Live a positive life, and live life like a human being. I think this is the most important thing. If you're
Yeah.
listening to this and you'll find it interesting, be true to yourself, live life to its fullest. Basically, it really is a gift. Basically, enjoy life, enjoy the moments, and try and be true to you. When I say this, try and be who you are. Don't pretend to be something that you're not, because eventually you'll just burn out and you
Yeah.
lose yourself in the process.
True, true. I think this is the hardest thing to be authentic, is because people demonize this. So if you are not how they show it on internet or media, if you are a bit different, people will say you're cringy, you're, like whatever. But they do this on purpose, because I don't know if you know, they say, so before they were saying love is the highest frequency. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know, but
I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah. So in theory, that's the highest frequency. That's why prophets like Jesus, they promote love, and everyone to act from the love for their neighbor and things like that. But they say there is a frequency even higher than love, and that is the frequency of authenticity, being yourself. This is even higher than love. But so people these days, they are so scared to be themselves. They are so scared of what do that people say, what the other will say, what if I'm wrong, what if you're wrong, you're wrong, it's fine, you learn. And you can, for example, even me, sometimes I'm like, I did some videos in the past that I don't really totally agree now with them. But I
There
grown
you
as a
go.
person.
There you go.
You get me? I grown now as a person. I'm not the same person I was 1 year ago. So I'm like,
100%.
for example, in the future, if someone will confront me and say, hey, you said that and that, and I'll be like, yes, I said that 5 years ago, and now 2 years now I'm saying something else, and maybe in 2 years I'm gonna say again, because I'm growing, I'm learning, new light is shining all the time on, so yeah, I think it's a great advice to just be authentic, and try, because they say this is the highest frequency. That's what I wanted to add to your thing, and I think it's a great advice.
Definitely, Daniel, definitely. I think, if you're the same person as you were 10 years ago, something is wrong. This is
Yeah,
my
yeah,
personal
exactly,
opinion. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. If your views are not changing, if you're not adding to yourself, basically, you're not growing as a human being or as a person. And
Yeah,
and I think that's wrong. I think you hit the nail on the top. You have to change with time.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
the reality,
Yeah.
whether it's your point of view, whether your mindset, whether you see things differently. And I
Habits,
think
everything.
yeah, absolutely. I think, as you're growing older, definitely you become wiser and maybe a lot more knowledgeable. I think things
Yeah.
will change. Yeah,
Yeah.
and everything comes with experiences that you face in life. Personally, myself, I'm not the same as 10 years ago. Like you said, I'm pretty sure if I go back and look at some of my videos, I would probably say,
Yes.
I don't agree with this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's part of
Uh,
life. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It's part of the growing process. Mentally, spiritually, everything comes hand to hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
True. Well, yeah, that was all. Thank you very much for joining me on this podcast. I think the discussion was good. I like it. I enjoy it, and I think it's a lot of value. And thank you very much.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I look forward to more of your content, and hopefully we can touch base again.
Yeah, the same with you. Cheers.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your time. Really appreciate it. Brilliant. All the best. Take care.
All the best. Take care too.